Good afternoon. My name is Niko House, host of the political radio show Mikasa Sukasa, and I urge you all to join our One Follow $1 campaign where we show the mainstream media, those who make it clear that they are mainstream media, and those who attempt to hide it behind the name independent media. But we need to show all of them that we will support those who will bring us the unmitigated truth. Even if you don't always like the truth, it's important to know that the truth is coming from money, void of agenda, without having essentially a political agenda outside of the truth and progression overall. And what we have seen recently is that some of these independent media sources do not have that. But nonetheless, I urge you all to join our One Follow $1 campaign. I welcome Insight News Network. We are almost at our goal of $1,000 for the month of July. We are so close, and we're far, but we're still close. And I think that you all can help us get there. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about something. As you all know, the Awan brothers have been arrested. Well, excuse me, Imran Khan was arrested trying to leave. Obviously, you know the stories, the facts circulating around Imran Khan are just, I mean, they're not mind-blowing for those of us who've known about this guy, but they are, newsworthy, more than newsworthy, considering that Debbie Wasserman Schultz had this guy on her pay stub, on her payroll, the entire time he was under a federal investigation. Considering the fact that Debbie Wasserman Schultz obviously gave him passwords to congressional computers, to iPads, and things like that. Considering the fact that the Awan brothers have made millions by essentially laundering money through different congressional payrolls in the Democratic Party. Now, that wasn't the only major thing that's happened. I mean, as you all know, the Judiciary Committee has just announced that the intelligence part of the Judiciary Committee has announced that they are going to now investigate James Comey. And even the reasons why is because of the statements that he made in his most recent hearing, essentially saying under oath that he was told by Loretta Lynch to call the matter of Donald Trump's the matter of Donald Trump's situation and investigation, and then the investigation of Hillary Clinton a matter. Essentially, Loretta Lynch directly asked James Comey to obstruct justice. They also have said that they're going to investigate future GPS, and that they're going to investigate the Clinton Foundation and their quid pro quo tactics overseas. I mean, this is huge news, right? You would think so. However, apparently TYT doesn't think so. And people will probably ask, well, why are you constantly calling out TYT? Well, the reason is, ladies and gentlemen, it's vetting season. The truth of the matter is, journalism has taken an important turn, and it, for some people, can be a great thing, but for others, it can be a very dangerous thing. We have gone from seeing the news simply being reported to journalists being considered an authority, because we know that there is legitimate fake news out there. And we know that people like CNN are pandering propaganda. But then there's the kind of the habitual line steppers, if you will. They kind of toe that line right there. That would be TYT, David Pakman, and others who are considering themselves independent journalists but have huge monetary backers. I'm not talking about like a little money and they keep their message, but keep their message objective. It's a lot of money, and their message has gone, they don't care. They're like, we're going to continue pushing the same narratives that CNN and MSNBC push, except we're going to push them online and then claim that we're different than them because we just happen to stand behind Bernie Sanders when they stood behind Hillary Clinton. That does not make you independent media. That is not the litmus test for independent media anymore. I'm sorry. They have not reported on the Awan brothers. They have not reported on Debbie Wasserman Schultz. TYT, I mean, and David Pakman also. But mostly TYT, because they have the potential to do the most damage in 2018, the most damage in 2020. They have not reported on this. And yet we're supposed to consider them objective independent journalists when even Forbes reported on this. Even Washington Post, for God's sakes, reported on this. Somebody got caught who was a congressional staffer making millions of dollars over a few years trying to leave the country with hundreds of thousands of dollars, gets caught, arrested. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is directly linked to that person, and that is not news for the Young Turks. But of course, you know, they managed to talk about Donald Trump's transgender ban, which is important to talk about. I've even talked about it. But still, there's more to the world than Donald Trump. There are legitimate events happening that are going to literally reshape politics, not only in America, but abroad, and in future elections, both the midterm elections and the general. And all y'all want to talk about is Russia. And we're supposed to take you serious as independent journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I started the One Follow $1 campaign. The reason I started is because they have huge monetary backers that give them the quality. It gives them the ability to hire more people. It gives them the ability to look more professional. And because of that, and they say a couple of nice little progressive, buzzwords, that people actually think that they're progressive. But when we have actual progressive journalists who are struggling to get by every day, it's hard for them to go out and get the story when they have to worry about putting food on the table, at the same time combating the false narratives and the propaganda of these faux independent journalists, when they are very clearly mainstream media. Simply because you do not call yourself mainstream media, or you're not on a television network, double back, because TYT actually is on the television network now, they are mainstream media. They are no different. A couple of people from mainstream media who are on CNN or MSNBC, like, people are going to say, well, what about Jimmy Dore? Yes, I agree. Jimmy Dore, I think he's progressive. But just because there's one person on MSNBC, I can't think of one right now, but just because there's one person on MSNBC that is progressive doesn't mean the rest of MSNBC isn't shit. And I shouldn't have to tell you that. I know most of you agree Jimmy Dore needs to get the hell up out of there. But we need to call them out, because it is vetting season and the authority of independent journalists are real. And we cannot let people with real authority have them peddling faux propaganda. Like, we can't allow that to happen. We have to hold them accountable, call them out, tag them on Twitter. We need to let them know, why aren't you covering the DNC fraud suit to the degree that you cover Russia? Like, this isn't just as huge. Why aren't you covering the Awan brothers? Why aren't you covering the investigation into Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Why aren't you covering the investigation into Loretta Lynch and James Comey and Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation? Why didn't you cover the death of Klaus Eberwein? Why didn't you cover the death of Peter Smith? We need answers, because if you're going to consider yourself progressive, or you're going to consider yourself independent, when you have seemed to be on one side of the discussion this entire year thus far, and we're 8 months into it, then it's hard for many of us, including myself, who are actually putting our necks out on the line, bringing the truth, while you're trying to combat everything. Yeah, saw John Adirola, or whatever the hell his name is, talking about some of these progressive, Trump doesn't need his Republicans to defend him, all these progressive journalists that do it. Nobody's defending Trump. If anything, we're just informing the world that not everything is as black and white as you all try to make it out to be. Nobody has to defend Trump. Everybody knows, well, not everybody, but I think that Trump is a pompous ass. But that doesn't mean everything he does is like ludicrous. He did, in fact, damn near end the conflict as far as the U.S.'s involvement in Syria, which was great. He did take us out of DEFCON 1, or DEFCON, whatever level we were at DEFCON, I can't remember right now, with Russia once he got elected. I mean, he is pushing for the accountability of a fucking criminal right now in Hillary Clinton. So there are things that he can do. And I am not intellectually lazy, nor are my colleagues. We're not so intellectually lazy that we try to lump every single action into a group and say, this is it. There is no in-between. There is no nuance. There is no need to discuss. Have some fucking integrity. Anyway, that's my rant. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, join our One Follow $1 campaign. And always remember, find your balance. Peace.